All right, let's go for, I'm going to drop down to, that is not a 14. Here's my 14. So I'm going to drop down to a 14, and again, I want to try to be very, very general and very non-specific, even at this stage, as I go through here. So, since most of this part of the painting was created using number 3 pile, I'm going to go right into the number 3 pile and begin to tweak that. So I'm going to recreate it as much as I can, much as I feel like I need to. And I think I'll grab, just like I did, cadmium red medium, little yellow. So that's a neutral-ish mix. I see a little pink going on in there, so I'm going to go a little heavier on the reddish tone. Touch of white. And just get in there and kind of tweak it. So what I'm doing is, before I actually get into too much specificity as far as how detailed I become, I want to reinforce the shape that I put in there. In a sense, I'm kind of redrawing it. So make sure I've got it where I want it in that regard. And if I want to at this point, I could do a little tweakish stuff. So I see some warmth in there. So I'm going to bring in some of these warmer tones with the cad red medium and cad yellow light, and bring that into this part. So I'm staying basically in the same value range, but there's some actual tweaking that's happening as far as the color, if you will, and especially the temperature. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that for now. So now I'm going to step into this next pile, which is my darker light, if you will. And again, do a little bit of reproducing it. And apply it where I think it needs to go. I'm staying very general still, and my big old brush kind of dictates that I do. It's not going to allow me to get too specific, and that, of course, is a good thing. My lovely cameraman, my wife, my model, we were playing around one day with the idea of, with this phrase, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And she said, when all you have is a little brush, everything looks like a detail, which I thought was very clever. And I further, at a recent workshop, came up with the idea that when all you have is a big brush, everything looks like a big, simple shape. So the size of your brush is actually going to determine a lot of what you're going to be able to do or should do on your painting. And guess what? It's so helpful. it helps to simplify so much. That's why I like to stay with that bigger brush as long as I possibly can get away with it. Well, I kind of have exhausted that possibility now. So let's drop down to 12. Oops, sorry about that. Sometimes you get in the throes of painting and, you know, caution, you throw caution to the wind too. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, come on. Really?
That's okay, that's okay. She's absolutely right to keep me in check.
Don't say yes, ma'am.
Okay, I won't say yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, dear. How's that? Just trying to get things even more accurate now, where I want to be, where I'm just moving closer and closer to where I want to be. Maybe you've heard the term bracketing. So when you bracket, so you start with an approximation of something, and then you move closer in with your brackets. So your brackets narrow. So you start out here, and then you move here, and then you move here, and finally you hone in, or you hone in on your target, so to speak. And that's kind of what we're doing too. We want to start in this place that's very simple, very general, and then move closer and closer to what we really want, which is an accurate yet simple rendition of our subject. So we want this simplified version of our subject. Now I'm looking at some of these very nuanced details that are inside the shadow. So we created our shadow tone, and we created it in a very simple way, with the understanding that we would be becoming a bit more detailed as we move through the painting. And that is where we are now. That's exactly what we're doing at this point. We want to have some of this detail in place, but we don't want to overstate it. No reason to overstate it. Always better to understate. It's a more artistic choice. It fits the whole idea of artistry. Artistry, when we think about what artistry really is, it's choosing how to express yourself in a certain way. And typically the word artistry implies some sort of simplified choice. We don't want to be overstated, of course. We want that understatement. At least I do.